Hotep Senwina Senut Itiren Ishakandugu Kemet. I hope you're doing well. There was already 4 comments before the live stream. Let me check the sound first. What is it? Bear with me. Microphone check 1, 2. Okay. Loud and clear. That's beautiful. Baby girl wants to say hello as usual. Yeah. Hotep. Say au revoir. Goodbye. Goodbye. Ok. Voilà, c'est bien. Voilà. So, I don't know if I said it. Hotep Senuhena Senut I Tiren Ishakadunku Kemet. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well, brothers and sisters. The title of this video is Panafricanism includes the gay struggle, and in parentheses, I've added Black Power Meets LGBT. You want to understand why I've included that. Now, first of all, I want to say this live stream will not be gay bashing. I don't see any point in bashing people for their sexual orientation. I'm not promoting any alternative lifestyle, but I don't think you'll be able to change people's orientation. So, if anybody expected that this will be gay bashing, then they will be sadly disappointed. All right. Now, the comments that were left way before the live stream started. We have the basic materials project who wrote, look what becomes of people who don't study the Medunetta. Love Me for wrote, and bless them for standing in the struggle twice over Thanksgiving to those who lead the charge Baldwin. I don't know what the charge Baldwin is. Love Me for put or wrote. The pictures you could have used would show your intent of decency. These pics use are a reflection of how blurred the lines has become. I don't really understand that message, to be honest, but I will show you why I've used that picture. And Tahuti wrote, good topic. Now, first of all, the picture. There it is. I'll give you the name of the article and the link to the article where I got the picture from. So I've shared this in the chat, okay? And now I will show you the page where I got the picture from. So you can see it's the African People Solidarity Community's website. And there's the picture. I did not make up that I did not make that picture. I did not create it. It was already there on their own website. Okay. White LGBTQIA plus solidarity with Black Power. No Pride in Genocide campaign wins white LGBTQIA plus solidarity with Black Power. Published August 1st, 2019. A new era for the white LGBTQIA plus community. Now, I'm not going to go through this article. I've shared the link already. Okay. So you have some more pictures there. All right. That's the page that's sharing right now. Is it? Yes. This I don't need anymore. Now, there's another website. This time is from a website called Uhuru Solidarity. So I'm going to share the title of the article and the link to the article. What? Okay, no, that's okay. Make sure that it was private. Okay. Be patient, please. Okay, I can close this one. I can close this one as well. And I can close this one as well. All right, and now the link to the website. So you see the title of the article and the link to the website. Now I'm going to share it. So you can see the website, Uhuru Solidarity. Oui, bonne nuit. And this time is earlier, it's June 30, 2017. So that's 2 years prior, the previous article. White LGBT solidarity with Black Power, no pride in genocide. So you can see here. All right. So whoever's interested can go and read this article. Now there's another article. This time is from Uhuru Magazine. But I don't know, however, if Uhuru Magazine is associated with the Uhuru movement, Bernie Spear and all these things. So, oh, Jafar, salute. Jafar, are you a member of the NOI? Just out of curiosity. Or are you a member of the Gods and Earth, the 5%ers? So, like I said, I don't know if they are related there. My name is Shaka, by the way, not Shake, but I know it was a typo. So you see, I've shared that one. But once again, I'm not sure that they are the same group. See, Uhuru Magazine. What does it mean to be black and queer? July 10, 2018. I don't think it's related to the Uhuru movement. And you have the Burning Spear, which is, a satellite of the Uhuru movement. Here from 2018. How you doing, Aya? Looks like 2018 was a big year for the alternatives lifestyle expansion. Aya wrote this is very interesting. So this is the name of the article and the link. I am that I am. Bonjour. How are you? Hotep, Sen-E. We're getting international, aren't we? So yes, once again, that's the name of the article and the link to it. And if I share, oh no, no, wrong one, too early. Hold on, wrong one. Let's go in order. Yeah, that's the one there. So as you can see, the Burning Spear, official organ of the African People's Socialist Party, August 5, 2018. No pride in genocide. LGBTQIA plus solidarity with Black Power. Okay, and here you have two comrades. All right. And he says, I am a white person of the LGBTQIA plus, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual population in solidarity with Black Power ever since I joined the Uhuru Solidarity Movement, working under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party. I am no longer an activist for gay rights, but a solidarity force for the liberation of the African nation. Okay, so you are free to read the rest. All right. So no pride in genocide. For the revolution, Uhuru. Uhuru means freedom in Swahili, in Kiswahili. Hujambo, habari gani? Nasema, nasema Kiswahili kidogo. Nakupenda Kiswahili. Um, there was a very beautiful song in Kiswahili. It's an artist called Matonya, and it's pronounced just like it is spelled just like you pronounce it, Matonya, and the title is Anita, Anita. Ok, tu viens d'où mon frère? Ça va bien, merci. Tu viens d'où mon frère? Ça te dérange pas de nous dire au moins le pays? Discord World Marxist / small hot subversion. Okay. Okay. Now, before I get to the nitty gritty, I want to show one thing for the record. I will even share the link actually. I'll share it in the chat. But at least some people will say, well, it was, I don't know what they're going to accuse me of, but on another note, something interesting. It's a book called Overturning the Culture of Violence. I've read that book. I don't remember if it was 2008 or earlier, but it was surely before 2010. And I found the book very interesting. It's written by a non black person. There's an equivalent in French. And you see on the cover of the book, you have a black man who's burnt and you have this crowd there, and this guy here is smiling. Now, there's a book called Without Sanctuary that shows pictures of lynchings. Sometimes you have children. This guy also is smiling. Sometimes there's children. Some of them smile. And so, Without Sanctuary, a book showing pictures of lynchings. And there's a book that I think is called 500 Years of Lynching as well. You know, so yes, I did not download the book. I don't even think ebook existed then, but I did buy the physical copy. I don't remember if it was directly on their website or if it was on Amazon. Because thanks to Amazon, I don't mean to make free advertisement, but me being in Europe, I was able to acquire so many books that are not sold in Europe. So that's a bad start for me now. The brother wrote, "Pardon my curiosity, brother, but who's going to accuse you for what?" Oh, okay. I I don't know how to say that in English, but I presume something beforehand. Um, Probably this Uhuru movement and all the satellites organizations might accuse me, like they have in the past, of basically, I don't know exactly which term to use, but they will accuse me of being against them, probably, because what I will share is not recent news. You know, it's not recent news, but I'm sure a lot of people don't know about that. Actually, when I shared it, the members in Europe, they were not even aware. They didn't get the memo. Nobody informed them. So like, what? Are you for real now? Some of them made phone calls in America, and they were told, yeah, you know. But anyway, I'm gonna share the link. You know what? I'm gonna share the link on the Web Archive, Internet Archive, and then the link that is currently hosted. He said, she said, I heard, it's I read. INPDUM resolves to protect and defend the SGL community. Some of you might wonder, what is SGL community? You will see what it is. So, hold on. Why don't I see the? Oh, there it is. See? So, on this website, you can see different websites that are no longer online, and you might not have all the links working. Now, as it is hosted today, we don't have the name of the author of the article, but here we have it, Ebony Simali Outlaw. And it was published on April 20, 2013. So that's 5 years before all these other publications that we've seen. And here you have the leader of the Uhuru movement, Omali Yeshitela. And we are told left to right, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Simali. So it appears that he's the author of the article, and Cleo Manago, that discuss issues to protect and defend the African community. Now, Cleo has been featured on the Senate for a little while. He once also had a discussion with Brother Polite. You know. So what I will do is just share the link to the website where it is hosted today. But it's the same article, by the way. See. So when I knew about this breaking news, it was on the uhurunews.com website, which is the Bernie Spear newspaper online. All right. I don't know if that page will work. Uhuru News is the online voice of the International African Revolution. It is dedicated to giving voice to the struggles of the African working class from around the world through its programming in an effort to unite and inform the struggles of African people and for the International African Revolution. Okay, so now I'm sharing the link to the same article. And it's not internet machine. Uh, I am that I am wrote. It's nonsense attacking the LGBTQ thing to African solidarity. It's like they're pushing. Oh, attaching, not attacking. It's nonsense attaching LGBTQ thing to African solidarity. It's like they are pushing an agenda for Africans to support their homosexualism agenda. And that was a comment that I read. So here you have the name of the article and the link. All right. And now I'm going to share and read this article. So you can see once again, it's the burning spear, the official organ of the African People's Socialist Party. So you can see here, same date, April 2013. We don't have the name of the author of the article, but it's okay. And for the record, you can see here it says the same thing. Left to right, Chairman Omali Yeshitela, Simali, and Cleo Manago discuss issues to protect and defend the African community. But you don't have the picture there. I don't know if maybe they're no longer cool with the picture, but it is what it is. So St. Petersburg, Florida, on March 23-24, 2013, the International People's Democratic Uhuru Movement held its annual international convention in St. Petersburg, Florida. One of the featured panel was Black Power Meets LGBT. You understand why I've added that in the title? There's no way to slander or anything. This is their terms, okay? Protect and defend the African community, gay or straight. The focus of this panel was the need for same gender loving and transgender SGLT Africans to be included in the African liberation movement. I participated in this panel alongside. Now, in the title of the video, by the way, once again, it says Panafricanism includes a gay struggle. Okay. And there it says, you know, the need for same gender loving and transgender to be included in the African liberation movement. Okay. So, I'm just using their terms. I'm not trying to each his own. But we were speaking to some brothers about the importance of clarifying what is Pan Africanism. What do Pan Africans stand for? I participated in this panel alongside Cleo Manago, who has been on the front lines for decades dealing with issues such as African empowerment, behavioral health, wellness, and HIV/AIDS, and same gender loving SGL community empowerment. So now you know what LGL stands for. This was truly an incredible experience. The term SGL was adopted because it is a culturally affirming identity for Africans who are homosexual. The term SGL is also free of the political baggage of the white gay rights movement, which has traditionally ignored or shown hostility towards the liberation of Africa and African people from white colonial domination. So they came with a term for gays, particularly for black gays or African gays. Keep the comments going. I will go through them. I see there's some new comments. INPDUM stands openly and defiantly against unnecessary divisions of African people. During the panel, it was correctly identified that the causes of African oppression is colonialism, imperialism, and parasitic capitalism. Africans who are SGL and transgender get attacked and mistreated in this white supremacist system just like any other African person, regardless of their sexual orientation, and should be defended in the same manner. White evangelical preachers and conservative family groups, with their Eurocentric patriarchal viewpoints, who just a few decades ago would not even let Africans come in the building, let alone pray besides pray beside them in church, have been pushing anti-homosexual legislation in Africa and promoting hatred in African churches all over the world. In allowing this to happen, we have let someone else's harsh xenophobic distrust and fear of differences influence our communities and attempt to exclude brothers and sisters from the work of liberating African people. Now, before I continue, it sounds very similar than Dr. Malaka Ziyur's scroll entitled Saddam Misinterpreted. And I read some of it where they claim that Paul was homosexual. So it's easily, you can easily find Malachi York's scroll called Saddam Misinterpreted online. If you just do a quick search and that's it. But I went through some of it in the video LGBT Agenda, where I was addressing the Bati crew. Those guys who bend over and get smacked in the booty and get objects inserted in their anus and get put into stress positions. So keep the comments going, brothers and sisters. I will go through them. This article is not really long, so I'm about halfway through now. But feel free to compare at least the beginning pages of Sodom Misinterpreted, because I didn't read the full thing. The beginning was a fair bit to deal with, in the first place. I was dealing with one of the Bati Cruz background, what I'm saying, but At the same time, the mistake of adopting and following behind the non inclusive traditional Eurocentric LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community was also highlighted. The white LGBT community since the 1969 Stonewall Rebellion has shown very little support in standing against the oppressive conditions that affect Africans every single day. They, in fact, benefit from white privilege themselves, taking part in gentrification, classism, and racism just like any other sector of the white community. The language and terms used in LGBT rights movement are also not reflective of the African community and have dominated people's perceptions. Derogatory terms such as queer were terms given to insult. I'm sorry, were terms given in insult to Europeans. Lesbian comes from the Greek lesbos and has nothing to do with indigenous or African people. Resolution passed. In an effort to affirm our own identities, a resolution was voted on to reject the term LGBT and was replaced with the preferred SGLT of African descent. Another resolution stood against the medical targeting and exploitation of the community by the pharmaceutical industry, stating the capitalist HIV/AIDS pharmaceutical industry has targeted and exploited African SGL men and African heterosexual women for profit and experimentation, and has waged a vicious biological war making billions of dollars. Lastly, a resolution was passed to establish an LGL Commission whose purpose will be to advance the work of INPDUM's revolutionary national democratic program around the question of defense against sexual orientation discrimination. All resolutions passed by unanimous vote. In my opinion, and from the comments of the majority of the attendants at the convention and those who watch online, the SGLT panel was not just groundbreaking, but to quote one brother, was life changing. I truly believe that history was made in helping to heal divisions and undo damage caused by colonialism. I salute the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement, which is under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party, for taking the correct position in protecting and defending all of our brothers and sisters in the struggle for freedom. This is a call to arms, to stand with the movement that sees through the smoke screens trying to split our people up. This is a call to protect and defend all of our African brothers and sisters. This is a call for SGL Africans to join the Uhuru movement. This is a call for freedom. All power to the people, forward the revolution. Now, there's a term here because when I addressed it, I made a video and I read this article and I named it Uhuru and Gay Power because here I will read the full sentence. I participated, that's the third paragraph, by the way. Okay, right at the beginning, third paragraph. I participated in this panel alongside Cleo Manago, who has been on the front lines for decades dealing with issues such as African empowerment, behavioral health, wellness, and HIV-AIDS, and same gender loving community empowerment. And that's why I entitled the video Uhuru and Gay Power. Okay, so I'll finish with the article. I'm going to get something to drink. I'm going to deal with the comments. And as usual, I've shared the link. It's in the chat. It is pinned, which means it remains at the top. So whoever wants to get on the panel is free. For some Pan Africans who want to tell us that that's the way to get down, they're free to do so. To each his own. Check this. But do LGBT people need empowering? Don't they already have a fair bit of power and influence? Because we are told that people are looking for ways to empower this community, which seems very powerful already to me. Now, another point here, towards the end, we are told about some resolutions passed. And as you can see, there was a resolution passed to establish an SGL commission whose purpose will be to advance the work of INPDUM's revolutionary national demographic program around the questions of defense against sexual orientation discrimination. So they basically have a special commission for LGBT people. And back then, when that came out in 2013, I was telling them, it's strange that you don't have any special commission for traditional African belief system, basically non-Abrahamic people, because we see that in this article, they are arguing that the classical LGBT movement were not inclusive of African people worldwide. But when we look at the Abrahamic belief system, we have about 1400 years of slavery combined. So I just don't get the logic. If people claim to promote African way of life, African tradition, why not promote the African belief systems? This is one of the reasons also why I don't rock with Panafricanism. You remember, I addressed the guy And the reason we knew about this criminal record is because he had an altercation with a politician. So the newspapers talk about it, and oh, by the way, that guy, he did this, he did that, rape on a disabled woman, and other rape cases. Then the criminal record was published. Black websites published the information as well. The guy sued those black websites. Then I showed you a video of another Pan African who has a very successful live stream or YouTube channel, and he publicly defended the guy who has a criminal record with several cases of rape, and he actually went to jail for rape as well. Of course, he says that he was wrongly convicted for that, but there's other cases on on his criminal record once again. Now there's Molefe Asante and Ama Mazama who came up with an organization called Afrocentricity International. They have chapters, in Europe and Africa. That organization gave a trophy to the guy who went to jail for rape and who had several cases of rape in his criminal record. So when I was telling you that, rapists get uploaded by Pan Africans, I wasn't joking. The video is still online today. I just checked before the live stream. The video where you can see Molefe Asante and Ama Mazama's organization giving a trophy to the guy. Now, what I've discovered recently is that Molefe Asante is no longer part of that organization. The organization actually split, parted ways from Molefe. So that was just in passing, you know. And I will try to see if I can find a Facebook post of one of the biggest black news media in France and probably in a French-speaking African world. Well, maybe not in the French-speaking African world. They have other networks that are probably way larger, but one of the main, if not the main, I think they have over 1 million subscribers on Facebook. First, they published an article about the guy's past, just like many other websites did because the guy had an altercation with a French politician. Then some Pan African, left a comment and he calls the newspaper, the website. Uh, Smash Rockwell talks about a PhD in linguistics. That guy writes for that website. So he called them by name and he said, "How can you attack a brother?" So the editor of that website, that newspaper, they have stores. I mean, they're quite large. They're doing their thing. And I think he put that message and he's like, "Yeah, well, actually, yeah, you're right. We're not supposed to attack. We're not judges, whatever, whatever. So we removed the article." People went crazy. Like, what? You're gonna remove the article now? And the guy did something like this. So what did he do? Buck dance, backtrack, and he put the article back again. And he said, "Okay, well, if you want to accuse us of being this and that, and tearing another black man down, then so be it." I'm saying? It's important for people to know. You know, the guy is a head of a Pan African organization, and so I mean, I'm paraphrasing right now at this stage, but this is what happened. So first they removed the article because some people are not happy. How can you attack a brother? You know, we're talking about the leader of a Pan African organization that have offices in several different countries in Europe and in Africa, and people find out that the guy has multiple cases of rape, one for which he went to jail. You know, and in this Facebook publication, I will see if I can find it. The amount of people who are defending the guy. Oh, that was back in the days. Oh, Malcolm X house. Well, I did some wrong things. You'll lose your mind. And those are Pan Africans, man. So if I find it, I will go through it with you and I will translate the messages. But some are anonymous and unidentified, but many, have their pictures. What I'm saying? Some their real name, and they are here defending that. So now let me go through the comments. Nesu West wrote, "Are you going to make a video for the Virgin Mary?" No, why? I never talked about the Virgin Mary, did I? You might mean Isis being a virgin. Now, if that's what you're talking about, I heard that the female cat dude say there was no. I mean, what's the. You know what? I'm gonna share the link for those who don't know. I'm gonna share two links. So I don't really want to talk about this again. I don't want people to think that I'm obsessed with such and such person. You know what I'm saying? So somebody asked to see Isis as a virgin on some original text, and I just delivered. And that person, said he would put money, that he puts $100, and every 10 minutes he would add another $100. Sadly, the last stream lasted for I don't even know if it was 7 hours, but so I ain't even gonna remove the guy's name, but the guy's name appears in the title of the video. But here, there it is. So you can see Isis, the Virgin, on an original text. And once again, my source for the translation for the actual word is the Wörterburg. Wörterburg. It's a German term. I don't speak German, so my pronunciation might be off. But it's everybody knows which dictionary I'm talking about. The most complete dictionary of ancient Egyptian, or Medu Neter, if you will. Okay. So don't trust people when they say, "Oh, I'll give you that." This is just a talking point, just to sound good, to sound like they are confident. Because when it's time to give the bag. So then there's another video here. And around 1 minute 20, I show you the disrespect that they've done. The dude could have said, I don't have the bag. I don't have the bag. Kind of broke now. The the credit repair is not popping like it used to. I'm not even tripping. Me mentioning the paper was just the dude said he would put paper on it, but just people just talk for the sake of it. Very inconvenient when you say, show me this on an original text, and somebody just happens to do that. So I'm going to remove the rest of the title to protect the innocents. I like that term. There it is. So here, around timestamp 1 hour 20 minutes, I'll show you the whole disrespect. Me being on hold for like 40 to 50 minutes, then being kicked out of the panel 3 times and being disrespected. One of the moderators saying that I was on somebody's NUTS. So that was my get back. So I have addressed that. If anybody wants to refute that, let me know if they addressed it, because I kept asking, have they dealt with it? No? Okay, I'm good. Now, Kiswahili Worldwide wrote, I find it offensive to even bring up that confused movement in relation to African liberation. The Uhuru movement is deep. They have many members. They are in several countries in Africa as well. They are established. They are really established. Kwame Shadid. And before I go further, we know the 42 negative confessions. Some translate as I've not copulated with another man, or I did not have sex with another man. And we know this is the papyrus of Ani, so this is a man talking. Others will have different translations. But a lady called Bernadette Menu, or you might pronounce it Menu, she's a French Egyptologist, PhD, and that's the translation she gives in her book about Ma'at. You know, I've quoted that book because you have some Pan Africans who said that you can be Kemetic and transsexual or transgender, as you say in English. You know, so that was where we parted ways, and then they went on some campaign to vilify me. You know, because yes, you have some French Pan Africans. You know, who, for strange reason, are friends with the same guy who defended the person who went to jail for rape. You know, who says yes, you can be Kemetic and be transsexual. Now, I'm not aware of Christians um, having any transsexual people in position. Same with Muslims, same with Jewish people. Nobody's going to say that Christians are homophobic, that Muslims are homophobic, or that Jewish people are homophobic. But for strange reason, when some black people say, you know what, according to my tradition, we don't get down like that. You do you, I do me. Now they're gonna label, you know, some black people as homophobic, or they're gonna try, which shows that they don't have any respect. Whoever wants to label an African person as homophobic because his tradition is not inclusive of alternative lifestyle, as long as they don't say the same thing about Jewish people and Muslim people and Christian people, it's not valid. It's just them picking on the weaker person. You understand what I'm saying? So Kwame Shadid wrote, "It's a poison for the struggle." Well, for the record, you have a few like gay pastors and gay imams. Now, I don't recall any gay rabbis, but maybe there are some. But those are an extreme minority. It's not accepted by the majority. You can ask the Pope. Nobody's going to say the Pope is homophobic. Have you ever heard somebody say the Pope is homophobic? They respect those people. You know, it's a poison for the struggle of black power to deal with anything that is mentally corrupt in walking in the gay state of mind, homosexual state of mind that is not growth for Pan African liberation. Wake Up World wrote, LGBTQ goes against our organic heterosexual existence. Nurture for Wellness wrote, Shaka, do, do you think gay persons should be with straight people or gay people? I don't even have an answer for that question. I'm surprised you asked me that question. Now, Thinker wrote peace to the chat. Wake Up World wrote, LGBT AI live a sexual fraud life. Naturally, two women cannot make a baby. Naturally, two men cannot make a baby. That should be a hint of many others. This is I don't know if I should say debate, but that's discussion. What's for sure is that these alternative lifestyle are there, recognized, and it is what it is. It is what it is. They're going to do what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have people who eat excrement, bowel movements. They love it. It's not good for health, but they do it. Just like you have some people, who use narcotics, and you have fentanyl, and I forgot the other's name as well. I think it's methadone. Very, very harmful. I mean, they have your body decomposing or deteriorating at a very fast pace, and it's destroying their lives, but they still use it. So everybody do now. I've used examples of negative stuff, so people might want to say, "Oh, you see, he's yeah, he's tying or making an analogy with." I mean, all I'm trying to say is that to each his own. To each his own. You know what I'm saying? Respect to our people who honor what they are organically designed to do from the Mother Nature. Nutri for Wellness wrote, you should interview the person who is writing this. Why? Why should I interview the person? I don't think I should interview anybody. But when you say writing this, are you talking about the quote unquote main article, the one that talks about the resolution for the special commission? Well, they didn't term it special, but the commission for SGL or for LGBT, LGBTQ, AI plus. You notice there have been so many other letters ever since because our article is 2013, right? But this question, I mean, this statement, I won't take offense at it, but I remember back then, the French Pan Africans, the French speaking Pan African, they are very special. For example, the video that I showed you of the the so-called professor who showed to the people a painting of the Nubians. It's a painting that supposedly depicts Prophet Muhammad, and he told the people this was made from testimony of the companions, and he said he even has some portrait where he is younger, which is a great lie. But the dumb Pan Africans in France, they are silly as F. I think they're the most silly Pan Africans in the world, the French Pan Africans. You know, French speaking Pan African, not just the French ones, the French speaking ones. Very groupie like. You know, very. I mean, extremely groupie like. So when I addressed that, did you speak to him? Speak to him for what? He spoke. He spoke publicly. That's something. That's a lecture. That so when you have people who have anti-black and anti-African teaching, Africans that live in the jungle life, Africans that are civilized, like the NOI's lessons, which are the same as the 5%ers or NGE, Nation of Gods and Earth lesson. A word or two might have been altered, but it's the same lessons. What they call the 120. Some people are like, did you speak to them? Speak to them about what? They have their lesson that they study by heart, and it says that Africans are not civilized. That Africans are living in jungle life. What is there to speak about? You know. So my people, like I told you many times, there's a conscious community, the online thing, and there are movements. Make sure you make sure to do the distinction. Make sure that you make the distinction. Don't even listen to anonymous and unidentified individuals. Because when we used to have those movements, you still had agents and agent provocateurs. Now with the conscious communities online, so you can have some people who can pass off as black people, and they are not. And we have some case of someone. He actually confessed. He pretended to be a black person. You know what I'm saying, on some message board. But you don't know who they are, so they might come up with great confusion. We have some people that have YouTube channels. We've never seen them, and they have a lot of followers. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to be able to have people who are identified, so they can really take accountability and responsibility for their words. You know, but sometimes, and this is not directed at Nutri for Wellness, but I'm just saying, a lot of time people say, "Did you speak to that person? Did you ask him what he meant?" You know, who was it again? When I used to do the Blog Talk Radio broadcast, I forgot the brother's name, but he was a regular. And when I was bringing up the Nation of Islam and Nation of Gods and Earth, 5% the lesson that says that Africans are living in the jungle life, that Africans are not civilized. He was at one point, saying, like, did you ask them what they mean by that? And I was like, they speak English. I understand what they mean. And he kept going on. Did you ask them what they mean? So it's like now, somebody's going to say, F your mama. You're not going to say, what did you mean by that? You know what it means. You heard what he said. You're not going to accept any linguistic breakdown. Try to say that F, it's a form of love. It's just rough love. So I'm just saying, I was just saying to you, love your mama. Nobody's going to accept that. So you have some people like that, and the guy was a great defender. And at one point I said, those bean pie eating, bow tie wearing, it's like, oh, you see what you just said now? Like I was being offensive by saying, bean pie eating and bow tie wearing. But they say Africans are living the jungle life. It's their supreme wisdom lesson that they study by heart. and it says that Africans are not civilized, and that's not offensive, that's okay, that's all good. It's the world upside down, I'm telling you, man. It's the world upside down, man. But anyway, but this is not directed to you, Nutri for Wellness. I hope you understand that. I really don't mind your participation. I thank you for your participation. I like the participation and the interaction. Even if some of you brothers and sisters disagree with me, it's fine. You can write it. You can comment upon it. We can talk about this. I went into many things, and I hope that this person, Nutri for Wellness, don't feel like I was, going at him or her, and it was not the case. I mean, sometimes I will read some comments and it will make me think about several things because I've been around for a minute, what I'm saying? I've been around for more than 15 years, so I've seen and heard a lot, and I met many people, many Pan-Africans, what I'm saying? So the irritated genie from War on on the Horizon, I'm familiar with him. He was kind of big until people realized that he was working for the government. But you got to eat. Lectures, YouTube, etc., has been going over the LGBTQ sexual assault for years too. He got banned from Bermuda for reminding black people to stay hetero. Now he has this what was the name of the movement again? Straight Black Pride, and I think that was clever to come up with the Straight Black Pride because if people can have their pride, why couldn't straight people have their pride? And it's like I don't know if you've seen it, but it was mainly non-black people and maybe non-black people only, but it was mainly non-black people who came up with the super straight gender or orientation, and they define it as being attracted only to females who were born females. So then when they will say, okay, this is my gender, I'm super straight, some people will criticize them, and then they will be like, so you're gonna criticize my sexual orientation? Isn't that prejudice? Basically playing the same game. I saw a video. Sometimes you don't know if it's a real reaction or if it is a plan, like a scenario, because we have a lot of that online, like the gold digger pranks and stuff like that. Sometimes they pay them, they have a script. So you can't be sure if it's really genuine reactions. But someone entered the library and behind is a person filming that we don't see. So the lady from the library, she says, "Oh, you can't get in with a camera." And then the person said, "Well, she identifies as a camera." So the lady from the library said, "So you identify as a camera?" And the lady replied, "Yes." And then the lady from the library was like, she thought a little bit and she was like, "Oh, okay." Because she probably thought, I'm going to be canceled if I'm telling that girl that she's wrong for identifying as a camera. So you have several people who, come up with stuff like that. So, identifies this, identifies that, and whatever. I mean, we've heard about that guy who went to jail. He initially identified as a uh, some sort of transgender, but he went to the jail for females and he got two ladies pregnant. So it's like, dang. So you might give some ideas to some people. Now they're gonna have to rethink that whole process. You know what I'm saying? The- Somehow, somewhere in jail, he no longer had the same gender, and he put in work. He don't put in work, you know, and there was no immaculate conception there. There was no virgin birth there. So yes, we have the straight black pride movement and all that. And irritated genie was with Ashok Kwesi. Because there's a picture you can see in the craft of Amen Ra, you see Sao Seti and you see the irritated genie as well. So Nesu West is saying yes using the Buddha book. That's what I've used in the first place. You know, all I did was showing Isis described as a virgin, and I have the video there. Anything that they talked about before, I'm not familiar with anything that they talked about after. I heard a little some, you know. But mainly what I heard is, well, if you look there, she had a child, there, well, you know what I'm saying? Or it doesn't mean this, it means that. Anybody, if they address it, let them put my name or let them say my name. I need to be aware of it because I'm not going to follow all those live streams on all those different platforms, you know. And you notice those their live streams like 7 hour, 8 hour, 9 hour, 10 hours long, you know. I really don't have the time to, you know. It would be best if they put my name if they want to holler at me, or they come and leave a comment while I'm live streaming, or while I'm not live streaming. They can leave a comment in any of my video, and I would like them to deal with the source that I've used, the Waterberg, the WB, Waterbook, Waterbook. I need to get that pronunciation right. Waterbook. So I think something like Waterbook, Wörterbuch, Wörterbuch, the Wörterbuch. Okay, and let them say that the Wörterbuch is pseudo. No, it's not accurate. Let them say that. You will see enough German people blasting those guys. They ain't gonna go there. They have limits. Oh, while I'm at it, Dr. Ben said, don't go to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. I've shared a video before. He was very blunt with his statements because he said other stuff that I don't need to repeat now. So whoever claims to be a student of Dr. Ben, or I've been down with Dr. Ben, you'll notice that, you know, some people will diss or bang against Kemetic people, and they will be all cozy and lovely and soft and whatever towards Abrahamic believers. It's a bit strange. Being non-Abrahamic doesn't mean you have to go to war with Abrahamic people. Everybody have their own beliefs. But in those Pan-African movements, I'm not aware of any commission for non-Abrahamic people, traditional ways of life. So they follow traditions of the former oppressors that gave us 1400 years of slavery, and then they're going to bang against Kemetic people or let people bang against Kemetic people. And give trophies to multiple rapists. Primarily, the youth must be taught about. For the record, the trophy was given to the guy who went to jail for rape and has several rape cases on his criminal record. That was the trophy was given like about 3 years before the organization that I made, that I named parted ways with Modefe Asante. So, you know, somebody, you know, brings that up to him. I say, well, you know, I'm no longer part of it. Well, he was part of it then, you know, but it's all good. Some people might say, you know, Modefe Asante was not a Pan African. He's one of the most famous Pan African. Uh, but he might be more famous for being Afrocentric or African centered. Anyway, primarily, the youth must be taught about hijacking of their organic heterosexual lifetime to turn them LGBTQ. Certain parents slash people are turning children on fathers who are heterosexual. Thanks for the info, Shaka, and all our people who maintain healthy heterosexual straight black pride at all time. Kwame wrote, the gay movement is a pro-death. I think the Pope, white Europeans have a strong homophobic history trying to make black in their image of that. Didn't really get the whole message, but Ayadela wrote, I think there are so-called conscious peeps doing drugs and bugging out online, nothing but bizarre behavior, but they get off on this nonsense. And Nurture for Wellness wrote, this is Brother Stokely. Baruti, my brother from African Truth. I just thought it would be a good dialogue on this topic. Ah, I don't I don't see the same way. I don't share that same sentiment. That's their stance, and I don't have much to do with that stance. I'm mainly trying to deal with like-minded people. So primarily, I'm sorry, primarily non-Abrahamic people. You know, when people enslave you, rape you, beat you, torture you for 1400 years, I don't think. I think you have the right to have some other philosophy. I've chosen to have another philosophy. But all those people who are allegedly non-Abrahamic, including Chemetics, they love to fence ride and appeal to the Abrahamic believers, and ultimately, disrespect Kemetic people or non-Abrahamic believers. The Abrahamic believers, they are in unison to go against non-Abrahamic people, and it's been going on for years. You know, so there's difference between movements and organizations. You know, I went through all the comments, so I will see if I can see find the article that I mentioned earlier on Facebook about all those people who were defending the serial rapist. I didn't even know that, but there's a guy. Some of you might have heard his name, Claude Sillard, very famous guy who was on radio and he's been dealing with Africa for many years, for decades. He's with the former rapist too. I mean, it's funny. Do we have any Pan Africans now? What's your stance about this Pan African organization? We have a special commission for LGBT people, but it's okay. I don't really need to have any input. I just wanted to share that. That's one of the reasons why I don't rock with it. You know, because when I bring up rapist, yeah, but just because one guy is a rapist. When I bring up pedophiles, yeah, but just because one guy is a pedophile. When I bring up, scammers, people stealing money, yeah, but and now there's this agenda. I wonder if they'll say, oh, yes, but just because, oh, hold on now. I might not find, I might not find this article that was on Facebook. And I see they have Nuri Muhammad. Minister of the Nation of Islam. It's an organization that teaches that Africans are not civilized and Africans are living a jungle life. And Kwanzaa. I mean, it's always the same thing, man. The people who have homophobic, negrophobic statements, negrophobic ideology. Oh, for the record, the guy who almost debated Jabari so far, because who knows, maybe the debate will still happen at the end of the day. But from what I've heard from Jabari, it's not going to happen. But I see the female cat with the live stream saying "F you, conscious community." All this time he thought he was going to debate. He was not into F you, conscious community. He was very happy, but now he's so upset. He's so upset now. You know, and out of curiosity, I've listened to the beginning. And it feels like it's like, well, some people gas me up. People used to cheer me up. So he's saying F you to the conscious community. That's the title, you know. I mean, I don't know if he's still live streaming now, but the guy who screamed out Jesus. Those who don't know, now if you ever hear me criticizing the so-called conscious community or Pan Africans, like I've stated, you have the cases of rape, cases of pedophilia, stealing, and the dangerous historical falsification, inaccurate information, such as
I don't believe in old Egyptian gods. I don't believe in that stuff. I wasn't even taught that bullshit, right? I'm the one who bangs against the Comedics. I bang against the
I've hit the stuff by mistake, but it's okay. We heard the main thing. He bangs against Kemetic people. Then you have their lifestyle, the way they get down.
Ridiculous Asar Imhotep. First of all, let's get to know Asar Imhotep. Listen for yourself.
Did you go through any kind of hazing process, though?
No, I pledged. Yes.
Okay, so you went through a hazing process.
No, I pledged. There's a difference.
Okay, so as you went through the hazing process, did they slap you on the ass with a paddle?
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay. So you bent over, you grabbed your ankles, and that paddle was smacking that ass.
Basically.
Okay.
You can tell from the guy who was asking the question, and we're far from being best friends, he got his Asiatic homies to fly my accounts because he lied publicly on air, stating that his passport nationality field says more. But he wasn't even surprised that the guy, replied, yes, they did. He probably expected to have to pull up a fight, to get an answer remotely close to the reality. But when you ask him, did they smack you in the AWS with a paddle? He replied, yes, they did. So then you go, oh, okay. So you bend over, grab your ankle, and a paddle was smacking at AWS, basically. So, hey, to each his own, to each his own. Some people do that when they pledge at universities in order to join some fraternities. And as I've seen, we went through that. I have some, a couple of videos about fraternities and stuff like that. Some continue throughout their life, their adult life, So you don't really know when it stopped, And some of them, they put their pants down. I read, people giving testimonies about, being butt naked, So now, when it comes to the information, the top scholarship nowadays is
Allah, and this is where I would disagree with Brother Shaka, is actually in the Egyptian text.
Allah is in the Egyptian text. That's the conscious community. That's the Pan-Africans.
The god Allah is an indigenous African god.
The god Allah is an indigenous African god.
Hebrews, come from and who they are specifically. because based upon my research, these are African people.
Hebrews are African people.
And this is how we know that the Hebrews, first of all, you got to understand that Hebrew is an African language.
Hebrew is an African language.
Then when you do a linguistic analysis, you understand that the Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language.
The Hebrew language is cognate with the Yoruba language. That's Panafricanism today. Now, in terms of linguistics, you have this top linguists who give us some breakdown and some insight.
Fly in English is the same word, except we don't have the prefix sound in there in the word fly. And so the word, the phoneme R is now L in English, and the P sound is F, in English. It's just simply the word. It's a very old word. It's all the Indo-European is in every African language.
Keper, keper, kefer. All right. Now, those screaming at Jesus are from the top of their lungs. And clarification, they claim that they are not Christians. They quote many Christian apologist websites. They pay people who apparently believe that Jesus existed to appear on their platform. They push this Abrahamic agenda. They bang on Kemetic people nearly every couple of days. Egyptomaniacs, Egyptomania. They get as many people as possible who feel some type of way about Kemetic people and Kemet. But when it comes to their own personal belief system, it's obvious because listen to what they scream out.
Come on, bro. Why you can't be banning for one day? Jesus. Oh, man.
And then he calls for help from Jesus. He's not a Christian. He's calling for help from Jesus.
Resurrected Christ.
Guys, I'm out. That's on that.
And more recently, we have the top scholarship. They tell us that Heru is Greek. Why?
Yeah. I mean, his pharaoh could have been a Greek, but I don't.
Well, I tell you what, Heru was Greek.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because one of the stories of Heru being conceived is during the Greek time period.
That's a top scholarship, man. So as if, rape, pedophilia, scamming, stealing is not enough. Because some people feel like, oh, the guy's a rapist, but he says some nice things. The guy raped the child, but he has good information. But even the information is whack when it comes to Pan-Africans. But it's all good, to each his own. Some of the reason why I don't rock with Pan-Africans. I know I'm not saying that all Pan-Africans get down like that, raping women, raping children, stealing money from people and stuff like that. But at some point, how do we make the distinction? So on the one hand, we have the rapist Pan-Africans, the pedophile Pan-Africans, the Pan-African thieves, and the other side, we have the Ma'atic Pan-Africans who are in the same organization with Abrahamic believers, the conflicting ideologies, if it's blackism or blackology, like you black, I'm black, let's get down. It's a melting pot and anything goes. So, Council Work wrote, I'm just tuning in. Who is this former rapist? It's a leader of a Pan-African organization who's been going to many different countries. Their organization have chapters in Africa and several countries in Europe. And because he had an altercation with a French politician, newspapers have revealed to the public that he went to jail for several years because he raped a disabled woman. Then his criminal record was published, and there's several cases of rape. So I don't really want to say his name like that, but you ask French Pan Africans, French speaking Pan Africans, not just in France, they know exactly who I'm talking about. And he received a trophy from the organization that used to be headed by Molefe Asante and a PhD called Amamazama. You know, yes, he received the trophy. Now, Pan African Designs in the Power wrote, as Pan Africans, we are aware of that elder and we kicked him out. Pan Africans are anti homosexuality. Stop it, Chaka. Stop it, what, brother? Stop what? What do you mean? Uh, and I mean, be specific. Which leader are you talking about? But you're saying stop what? That's the stance of the Uhuru movement. They have a special commission for LGBT people. They don't have a they don't have a special commission for non-Abrahamic people. Somebody wrote that Reg is not credible. I am that I am wrote reminds me of who's reminding you of Young Pharaoh and Kunsu Work wrote Hotel. All right. So I went through all the comments. Does somebody want to get on the panel? If not, I will put an end to this live stream. I mean, I stated, what I want to. Oh, I almost forgot. So the same people have a special commission for LGBT people. We're going to look at their stance about a movie depicting a fiction. I'm aware that a fair bit of African Americans have stated their piece regarding the movie Black Panther. And of course, Black Panther, Wakanda, not the Black Panther Party movement. So we're going to have a look together. I heard a lot of people in America saying, T'Challa is a traitor. So it's still the burning spear. And it says, Black Panther movie introduces Wakanda, an attack on the African Revolution. May 5, 2018. By Iniko Kitemoma. T'Challa, the Black Panther played by Chadwick Boseman, left battles Eric Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan Wright, for the throne of Wakanda. Killmonger was painted as the ultimate villain despite being the closest example of a revolutionary. On February 15, 2018, the film Black Panther was released to movie theaters worldwide, a film that has now become the highest grossing movie directed by an African in history. In light of the box office records that it shattered and the attention the film got through massive promotions by white ruling class media, political questions have been raised within the international Black community. I think it's mainly, in America, but it's okay, But there's many people. Whatever is said in America, they roll with it, So both the African petty bourgeoisie and the poor working class are voicing opinion on the film. The film is rich with political contradictions that are obvious to the masses who went out and saw it, as the different opinions attest to. According to the storyline, the Black Panther is a place called Wakanda, located in Africa. What makes Wakanda significant is that before the What makes Wakanda significant is that before the Atlantic slave trade, a meteorite struck the land 10,000 years ago, and it contained a substance known as vibranium, strongest metal in the universe. Wakanda eventually decides to hoard this valuable resource from the rest of Africa and the rest of the world, and uses this metal to visually hide itself from the world. In the film, alien nations view Wakanda as a starving nation with the highest level of poverty in the world due to the visual blinding Wakandans have placed on their country. It sounds awfully similar to the actual conditions faced by the masses of poor working class Africans on the continent to this day, minus the hidden land of liberated Africans at the expense of the rest of the nation, not having access to clean drinking water and not being in control of their resources. Eventually, the primitive attack on Africa occurs and colonialism begins in Africa. Africa is being raped and looted, its people being murdered and enslaved and turned into commodities of white power. Where is Wakanda in all of this? It was still scheduled in invisibility from the rest of Africa while holding vibranium, something that could be used to resist colonization and assist the people of Africa from being murdered off by a then starving Europe who wished to divide and conquer Africa. Fast forward hundreds of years to the founding of the United Nations, we have all the colonial dominant nations coming together to see how best to divide the stolen resources of the oppressed nations of the world for their own interest. Wakanda is an active participant in these meetings. The truth is that Wakanda is a country that has assisted with the colonization of African people and assists white power by not interfering with its process of looting, rape, and murder so that its valuable resources, not resources, but resource, can remain hoarded and separate from the rest of Africa. The film places the heroism and the crushing defeat of the main antagonist, Eric Killmonger, who acts as closely to an actual Black Panther of the 60s than any character in the movie. His main goal was to seize power from the monarchy in Wakanda so that he could be king. Then he would equip the masses of African people worldwide with the vibranium being hoarded to create weapons, gear, and tools necessary to defeat white power colonialism to liberate Africans worldwide. We he will still be king. However, the contradiction with this is that the way to become king or queen is feudal, meaning that power came through divine right or they've been ordained by God Himself to dominate the lives of the poor peasantry. Here's where the political split comes. Poor and working class Africans were disheartened to discover that Killmonger was not the hero of the movie, despite speculations already lingering based on the museum scenes where he recognizes that the wealth of white nations come at the expense of the attack of Africa and the abundance of resources in Africa. The African petty bourgeoisie then undermined the importance of Killmonger and his struggles and instead put the onus onto how he attacked African women and his anger towards Wakanda for their existence. In reality, the army of African women was working in the interest of Wakanda and Wakanda's complacency with the starvation of 80% of the African nation worldwide. Why they hold the rarest metal on earth and its possibilities to assist the liberation struggle of the African nation. Another contradiction in the film was the placement of African women where the key roles for the women were those either in royalty or part of the military. This means that Wakanda found no leadership roles in the governing of Wakanda suitable enough for poor working class African women, doubted their ability to lead. And for the record, I have already read a hadith from Sahih Bukhari, where we are told that women are deficient in intelligence and in religion, you know. But I'm sure that this Yoruba movement, who has a uh, s- uh, dedicated commission for LGBT people, will not find anything to say, you know. But they're going to talk about a movie that deals with fiction. Also, the Black Panthers prime time, the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, acted as the merciless police of sustaining international capitalism while in the process overthrowing governments as a nation as sacrifice. If these foreign leaders don't cooperate with the exploitation of their nations by white power and allow white power to do as they please, it will result in assassinations of leaders and or drone strikes out of that nation. I mean, they are mixing the fiction in the movie Black Panther and they're, mixing, with making analogy with, real life situation and so on, despite this violent and parasitic relationship that the CIA has with African nations, one of the main allies of Wakanda and also main character in the film was a white CIA agent assisting Wakanda with the downfall of a socialist revolution against this feudal kingdom. I mean, the race card, because that book that I've shown you, Overturning the Culture of Violence, written by a white woman. They have a white people solidarity committee, but they're, I mean, people they know how to get down. You know what I'm saying? Talking points to further distort distort history. One argument suggested that the invention of the Black Panther cartoon character outdated the actual revolutionary Black Panther Party of the 60s that took the world by storm. Now he's going to go about, the creation of the Black Panther, basically saying that it was before. So let's go back to the movie. Ultimately, the Black Panther movie promotes white power and assists the CIA with counterinsurgency. The movie is, without fear of contradiction, a deliberate attack on the African Revolution and the theory that it leads forward, African internationalism. So the movie Black Panther, we are told, is a deliberate attack on the African Revolution. But having a special committee for LGBT people, apparently, that's the way to go. They made a situation in which the hero of a Marvel film gets his heroism from being complacent with the oppression of his own people and ensuring that the entire African nation is separated from its natural resources that could assist with their liberation. The villainizing of Killmonger makes sure that the masses of African people despise any attempt at recognizing their material interest, especially at the time where Africans are putting themselves forward as their own leadership. Instead of putting this notion forward, they promote the idea of a feudal kingdom by the name of Wakanda as the leadership of the African nation. But Marvel and Disney, two representatives of white power cultural imperialism, don't realize, however, is that they can make hundreds of Black Panther or similar movies, but the international African revolution is an unstoppable force, and we don't need a Killmonger or T'Challa. All our confidence is in the organization of the African working class and poor peasantry under the leadership of its advanced detachment, the African People's Socialist Party and the African Socialist International. All power to the people. So, that being said, if they feel like that about a movie depicting a fictional story, a fiction, they should be more vocal about the African leaders, about the African presidents. Because if people want to talk about colonialism or neo-colonialism, who's helping the European powers? Because it's so good to say, yes, the European powers, are they doing this on their own? Now, what about what some people describe as an other form of white supremacy, the Abrahamic belief system? Why does it get a pass? 1,400 years of slavery. And we have plenty of anti-Black Negro African literature, statements. It's just strange. Those movements have been there for decades, man. Now, what does the Uhuru movement and all other Pan-African organizations think about this? 3 minutes, 18 seconds.
So Shabazz was not permitted to stay in that area, so he took his family into the jungle of East Asia, which we now call Africa, to make a people close to nature. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, this is the origin of kinky hair, because we didn't have kinky hair prior to that. The hair on our head was like the hair on our eyebrows. The hair on your eyebrows straight, the hair on your head is not the same as the hair on your eyebrow. But the hair of every other people is the same as their eyebrow. Your eyebrow straight, your hair something different. Wouldn't you like the hair on your head to be as straight as the hair on your eyebrow? That's why you're so busy frying it. That's why you're so busy pulling it. Because your nature tells you that the kink I mean, with I'm black and I'm proud, we got to learn to be proud of kinks. Because most of your family of other black people on the earth, jet black. They didn't have no broad nose and thick lips and kinky hair. They were dark-skinned people, jet black. but they had straight hair, a thinner lip, a thinner nose. But we are marked as a different kind of black person. And we were rejected and despised, not only from the circle of the gods, but we were despised and rejected by all the other dark people of the earth. This is why today black people with kinky hair and broad nose and thick lips are rejected in every society. I want you to hear me well tonight. Yes, sir. Why are we rejected? Because the essence of beauty is in obedience and submission to God. And the essence of ugliness is when you rebel against God. And when you rebel against God, in your rebellion, you are marked with a certain mark of your rebellion, which is the disfigurement of your internal self, which manifests in the disfigurement of your external self. And this is why when you look at our people, wherever we are found on the earth, you find us either disfiguring ourselves physically because we are disfigured on the inside because of rebellion. Go ahead.
How many times have we heard disfigurement? Is that some European doctrine? That organization is socialist. I think the leader is atheist. What is the organization's position on religion? Well, everybody can feel free to ask them, but I haven't heard them writing, well, this Abrahamic belief system, you know, it comes from the Europeans, and they've done that to us to African people for 1400 years, because since they are so vocal about a movie, about Wakanda, which is a fiction, what about the reality? I mean, people know how to get down to get their paper. They know how to appeal to people and get their paper. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Disfigurement, essence of ugliness, marked. What is the position of Pan African organizations? It's always the same. They're a bunch of hypocrites. If it was a white person that said that, they will all be running the mouth. If it was a Jewish organization that said that, oh, these Arabized brothers, this Asiatic black man, they'll be talking. But because a black dude said it, it gets a pass. And if you bring that up, they must say, what are you doing for the people? I'm against necrophobia. I'm against anti-black and anti-African teachings. What is the position of Pan-African movements? Some of them will act like I didn't know. I wasn't aware. So since this video, this live stream starts with Pan-Africanism, all of you who are members of Pan-African organization, just ask your leadership, what is your position about this statement? Why don't you let it be known? Let it be known. What is your position about this statement here? So there's nobody in the panel. I went through all the comments, and as usual, I played Faircon, saying that we were marking disfigured, but it's Faircon, so nobody has anything to say, Oh, interesting. Their website says they are not Pan-Africanist. Okay, well, if you don't mind sharing that link with me, that's interesting. All right. Well, the questions still stand. As a matter of fact, whether your organization is Pan-African or not, what is your position about this? I'm telling you, non-Abrahamic people, we need something of our own. Over the years, I've seen enough people thoughting, and it doesn't work in the long term, man. Trust me. You have to be selective. If you go to Muslims and say, you know what, we need some Zionist element, we need some Christian element, we need some Hindu element, they're going to say, look, man, you do you, I do me. But you have some new age so-called Kemetic people, who want to do some melting pot and include everything. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Christians and Muslims and Jewish people, they live side by side with their own philosophy or belief systems. You have the right to your own. All right? They have their movements, they have their holy places, they have their place of worship, place of pilgrimage, they have their literature that they sell for the most part. Sometimes they will give it to you free as well. They have their merchandise, they're making their paper. Could you please Google images of Pan-Africanists? I don't need to, do I? For what? But I like to say Pan-African though, I like to say Pan-African, but I think it means the same thing, So my stance is that the Pan-African movement initially, the main purpose was the independence of African nations, and that goal has been reached, at least on paper. And like I said, because some females feel like because they are women, because they are females, they have to be feminist. Some black people feel like because they are black, of African descent, then they must be Pan-African, But there's a distinction between African and Pan-African. Pan-Africanism, that's the movement. That's a movement. And some people have been getting major paper, basically using the race card, coming with all this rhetoric, and ultimately, accepting different kind of white supremacy system. And they're just picking and choosing the ones that they're going to condemn. And in the process, accepting, validating, embracing, rewarding rapists, pedophiles, thieves, and whatnot. So nobody's perfect, but we need standards, we need limits. And for those who say, well, that was a long time ago, he raped this child or he raped those women a long time ago, please tell us from the get-go the time period where it will be considered in the past. Or let's not talk about it. Let's move forward. Is it 2 years after the rape? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Just let us know. It would be good to know from the get-go. So that whoever happens to be raped by a Pan-African will know, okay, after 5 years, I cannot just complain about it because they're going to tell me, well, first of all, it's personal. He did that to you. You have a personal vendetta against our brother. You want to bring him down for something he did 5 years ago. Should have come forward earlier. And what are you doing to liberate our people? So we have 15 people online, but there's no more comments. There's nobody on the platform. So I'm going to put an end to this live stream. Thank you for being in attendance. Whatever organization you belong to, just let it be clear what your stance is and do your thing. Everybody have the right to do their thing. I'm just trying to be selective. All right. So stay safe, stay healthy. And if I'm allowed to by the nature, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving middle nature classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first meta nature class by Brother Shaka today, And I've had other meta-nature lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is, that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the meta-nature, if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the meta-nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu-Neture classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu-Neture class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.